Okay, may I have everyone's attention, please? Are you ready? Before I got elected, I used to berate Joe for not speaking up when the previous mayor verbally abused residents.
You're out of control. You need to do something there. This is a personal agenda.
Okay. Excuse me, I am not.
You're talking about stuff for 3 hours.
One person in this room.
I told him that if I were on the council, I wouldn't be sitting idly by when something like this was happening. We simply can't afford to present ourselves to the public as haughty, aloof, and all-knowing.
Because this is being blown way out of proportion.
We say we encourage public engagement. When people take time out of their busy schedules,
My daughter's here. She has to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. She hasn't done homework. We had to leave to go to. So yes, coincidentally,
home.
she came from religion class. She sat here, did a great job, and then I had to get my other one at 9, take her home, and I came back.
to come here and offer their opinions, our responsibility is to listen courteously and respectfully.
My concern is potential drunk drivers.
Well, nobody can get in this ocean anyway unless they live there.
No, but I could be exiting and entering, and so can my daughter, and so can my second daughter.
Okay, and so my response to you is,
Finished.
It's inappropriate for us to challenge residents regarding their beliefs or to interrupt their presentations with provocations about red herrings or vilify them as members of an angry mob.
the drinking is such a red herring. I'm sorry. It is a total red herring.
Well,
I
you
have
say
to keep
that
saying
until
it.
there's
Let
an
me tell you.
Well,
So
you're
to say that there are
dismissing my
going to be
concerns,
drunk
and that's
people
not fair.
stumbling out of that
allowed to voice my
restaurant.
concerns.
I'm
concern
trying,
of mine,
I
and I don't think it
understand
should
that.
be intimidating to people that are of different opinions from you.
But
I wanted,
what I did
excuse
not-
me, Mrs. Mayor, all these people, all this gathering here deserve the respect of our asking and our request.
And if you open your mouth one more time with a criticism
I would
of
like to
somebody
prove-
else, there she's right there.
Thank you. This is a public
Criticizing.
hearing.
I
This is
don't
a
wanna-
public hearing. You are
Karen?
hearing my attitude.
Karen, you are out of order. You are out
Do the
of
residents have
order.
the option of having
You are
police
out
brought
of
in?
order.
Because I am being
You
abused
can be escorted out.
verbally.
The neighbors are exceptionally understanding. We only call when it's completely out of control.
But you do seem to be the only ones who have become so hyper-vigilant over it that you can't tolerate anything. You all just don't seem to be able to do that.
Because it's up to 100 nights, but there's only so much you can do. We of course come across like those nasty, angry neighbors that you keep on referring to us. We just want to have quality of life, Mayor Lerner, please. It's over-programmed. Bottom line, you're running a lot of events and you're putting a lot of stress in. It's been said before.
Culture, no. No, wait a minute. We're not going to stand up and yell at each other, okay?
Shutting everybody down. You need to be removed from council. It's a personal issue for you.
Which will pay, as you saw, by the, you know what? Sit down. I'm in the middle of a conversation here, and the way you present yourself is offensive. Well, I'm sure you're hearing very biased opinions. Let me share with you
You know what?
what
I'm
the
going to have a
data.
chance now to read the lease agreement.
Okay.
We had important things to ask, and you failed again. Excuse me.
Okay. Okay.
You shouldn't say the neighbors have no right to voice their opinions. I'm a mother.
I'm
and I am
hearing you,
very-
and I
but
haven't
you're
said you have no
dismissing-
right.
But you're dismissing.
Because I've heard the same red
Saying
herring
it's a red herring.
argument for 2 years. And I think it's a big red herring. And it's a scare tactic. That's
It is not a
exact.
scare
It is a
tactic.
scare tactic.
Yeah, I think you're being very disrespectful.
I'm sure the other council members stand behind me in agreeing that this type of behavior is both wrong and counterproductive. It makes our job of finding a path forward on important issues twice as difficult.
So all I'm asking, it sounds like your opinion's already made, but I'm asking the rest of you to please consider this to make this interest in the best interest of our taxpayers.
Okay.
And hopefully We're not dismissed next time.
Okay.
Mayor, your intimidation of soft-spoken, thoughtful Hazel last month in front of her 9-year-old daughter was way over the line. Last month, you also told neighbors that they had no say in a particular issue.
However, the noise ordinance says that, excuse me, could you stop making those faces at me?
No.
It's very,
I guess I can't stop.
I think that's very rude.
In order to, give me that rolling of the eyes, Cindy.
It's
You are the most
every
rude,
single,
discourteous
it's every
person I've
single
ever met.
function.
And perhaps you've accomplished your goal to just break the neighbors that they feel they're wasting their time by making their calls. And I resent your looks and your attitude and your loud voice and your condescending words, and it's very inappropriate and offensive. You're welcome.
Okay, meeting's adjourned.
May I remind you that in your campaign literature, you attacked your opponent for saying in a public meeting, "You know, we can do this without you." There's tremendous irony here. This kind of thing is happening every month. It's getting worse and worse, and it needs to stop now. The public expects better behavior of us.
At the last meeting was talking about the neighbors being exceptionally understanding, and then he was interrupted by the mayor. In the past several years, less than a handful of times has someone come over to complain. Okay? So
you know what I'm gonna do?
excuse me, you're interrupting me now. You interrupt everybody. You're not going to interrupt me.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you that we're tired about being called hypervigilant. We've been extremely tolerant about everything that's been going on over at Pinecrest Gardens. Don't tell us that we can't tolerate anything, no matter how wonderful a family event it is. And the fact that you constantly berate us and insult us and put us down, we're tired of your lies. Thank you.
Let me call
Now,
time out.
I just want to say one thing, and I want to say one thing. I'm going to get the police reports of every time the police were called and a neighbor
Excuse
came
me,
to
that
complain.
is not what you said. It was personal last
what's
time.
wrong. It's not healthy to fight back and forth from the dais.
This is
meeting is
exactly what I'm talking
No,
about.
you gotta call it
We
right
haven't voted yet.
Just let's call it
We're
quits.
adjourned.
Still in
We're
business
adjourned.
there.
Gotta vote.
Well, you can't do that.
We have to. Plus, we have to pick it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Adjourned! No! I'm done!
Some months ago, we passed a resolution calling for Pinecrest to be a community of respect. To my mind, it begins with how we up here on the dais treat residents, and it includes how we treat each other.
Let me finish! Could I?
Changing the agenda requires a majority
I've been
vote.
doing it all night, and we're going to do it the way I call it.
Changing the agenda requires a majority vote.
Do not interrupt me when I'm calling the agenda.
Changing the agenda requires a majority vote.
Guys,
You
I
are
don't think
indeed.
there's any need.
You
I
are
don't
You
think.
are out of order.
Mayor.
Am I out of order?
Mayor.
Motion dies for lack of a second.
I don't need your legal opinion.
I'm sure I speak for my other colleagues in saying to you, Mayor, that we will no longer tolerate being treated as objects of your hostility. If you expect respect from us, you're going to have to earn it by showing us respect.
Don't put words in my mouth. I said the
It's there on the tape. It's been approved. No, you said the program was approved.
God damn it!
Finally approved tonight.
No, I said, okay, I hope you got it off your chest. In terms of accusing me of being hostile to residents, and if you open your mouth one more time with a criticism of somebody else, I completely disagree with you. This council is not going to be treating each other the way other councils do. Let me finish! God damn it! So if you don't like the way I talk to you or anybody else, let's have it out in the back room and each other by tearing into me or anybody else.
May I interject? I think you're exactly right. I think we should pull this offline.
Yes, let's take a break. I'm not putting up with this kind of shit.